Okay, welcome. You're here because, well, you want useful insights, right? Fast. No waffle, just the stuff you can actually put into practice.
Exactly. And today we've gone deep into a personal development script, pulled out some really practical strategies.
Yeah, our mission was basically find the best bits. We're talking neuroscience-backed stuff for your head, a neat trick for productivity, and a solid plan for your finances.
We've distilled it down for you, saving you the time.
So let's jump right in. Think about this. What if, like, daily mindfulness could literally reshape your brain? Or what if one simple email change gave you hours back each week?
And what if getting your finances sorted is less about, some magic formula and more about smart planning? That's what we're digging into.
Okay, first up, mental well-being. There's this technique grounded in neuroscience for handling anxiety.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Something concrete you can do.
It's called the 5-4-3-2-1 anxiety killer. Sounds dramatic, but it comes from neuroscientist Dr. Judson Brewer. So this isn't just fluff.
No, not at all. Dr. Brewer's work suggests anxiety often follows these, well, habitual brain pathways. This technique is a direct way to break that pattern
How? How does it work?
by deliberately shifting your focus using your senses.
Right, so walk us through the steps. What do you actually do?
Okay, so when you feel that anxiety creeping in, you pause
Yeah,
and you intentionally look for 5 things you can see.
just name them.
Yeah, but really notice them, like
Yeah.
the detail, the color, the texture. Then 4 things you can physically touch, maybe your desk, your clothes.
Okay, 5 seeing, 4 touching.
Then 3 things you can hear, the sound of your computer, maybe traffic outside.
Got it.
Then 2 things you can smell. Could be faint, like paper, or maybe coffee nearby.
Uh-huh.
And finally, 1 thing you can taste, even just the lingering taste in your mouth, or maybe you take a sip of water.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Senses. It sounds almost too simple.
I know, right? But the science behind it is this idea of a sensory override.
Sensory override. Explain that.
Well, by actively engaging your senses like that, in that specific order, you're basically hijacking your brain's attention. You're pulling focus away from those spiraling, anxious thoughts.
Ah, so you're forcing your brain to deal with the here and now, the physical sensations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're bringing the prefrontal cortex, your thinking brain, online to calm down the reactive bits, like the amygdala. The source we looked at mentioned it can interrupt that fight or flight loop in about 90 seconds.
90 seconds?
Yeah,
That's fast. So instead of getting sucked down the rabbit hole, it's like a quick reset?
precisely. The source even had this anecdote, someone using it before job interviews, said it was a game changer.
I can see that. Does it work for any kind of anxiety? Or is it better for specific situations?
That's a good question. Look, the principle of grounding yourself through senses is pretty broadly helpful, right? It pulls you into the present.
Right.
But yeah, effectiveness might vary. For a sudden spike of anxiety, it can be super immediate. For more like chronic stuff, it's probably best as part of a bigger toolkit.
Makes sense. Okay, let's switch gears. What else causes stress?
Email.
Oh, definitely. The endless inbox.
So apparently there's a better way. Comes from a place that knows about efficiency, SpaceX, Elon Musk's team.
Yep, they call it the Musk method, or CAB. Stands for clear, actionable, brief.
CAB. Okay, break that down for us.
Right. So, clear means the subject line tells you exactly what's needed. No vague stuff like, approve Q3 budget by 5 p.m., you know instantly.
Okay, crystal clear up front. No guesswork. What about actionable?
That means each email asks for one specific thing, one action, not a rambling list of requests buried in paragraph 4.
Uh-huh. So like reply yes to launch?
Exactly. Or please confirm availability for Tuesday meeting. Simple, direct. Makes it easy for the other person to respond quickly.
And the last one? Brief.
Keep it short, like really short. Under 5 sentences is the guideline.
5 sentences.
Yeah. If it needs more discussion than that, it shouldn't be an email. It should be a meeting or a call.
That actually makes a ton of sense. Stop the massive threads. And get this, the source mentioned, someone who adopted CAB cut their email time from like 14 hours a week down to just 3.
14 down to 3. That's huge.
It's a massive time saver.
But hang on. Could being that brief sometimes feel a bit abrupt? Or even rude?
That's a fair point. Context definitely matters.
Right.
If you're building a relationship or dealing with a really sensitive issue, maybe pure CAB needs a little softening.
Right.
But for most day-to-day work stuff,
Yeah.
it's incredibly efficient. And they had a neat tip for getting your team on board.
Oh, yeah.
If someone sends you a super long email, you just politely reply asking them to please CAB this.
Huh. I like that. Kind of trains people.
So that's the standard, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've tackled anxiety, tackled email. Let's talk money. Financial freedom.
The big one.
Yeah.
Okay, so the source laid out this framework, again, surprisingly simple sounding, the three-bucket money system.
Yeah, the goal here is both feeling secure now and having a clear path for long-term wealth without it being super complicated.
So 3 buckets, what's bucket one?
Bucket one is security. This is your safety net. It's basically 6 months' worth of essential living expenses.
Okay, 6 months of bills, food, rent.
Exactly. And crucially, it's held in cash or like a very accessible savings account, not invested.
Why not invested?
Because its job isn't growth. Its job is peace of mind. It's knowing if something unexpected happens, you lose your job, big medical bill, you've got this buffer. It stops you panicking or dipping into long-term investments.
Gotcha. That security aspect is key for reducing that money anxiety. Okay, bucket two.
Bucket two is wealth. This is where the growth happens. The strategy is simple. Consistent investment in low-cost index funds.
Index funds, like
Yeah.
tracking the whole market.
Pretty much. The source mentioned VTI and VXUS as examples. Those are ETFs, exchange-traded funds that give you broad diversification really cheaply.
Okay.
And the most important part here, automatic contributions. Set it up so money goes in every month or every paycheck without you thinking about it. And this is vital. You don't touch this bucket until retirement.
Don't touch it. That requires discipline. What about people who feel intimidated by investing, getting started?
Yeah, that's real. I think the key is starting small. You don't need huge amounts. Focus on the consistency, the habit. Lots of brokerage platforms now have tons of educational stuff, simple guides. It's more about time in the market than timing the market. Automatic is your friend here.
Right, automate and forget about it, essentially. Okay, so security, wealth, what's bucket three?
Bucket three is the fun one. It's the dreams bucket. Or maybe just the enjoy life now bucket.
I like the sound of that.
This is where you allocate maybe, say, 10% of your income specifically for joy spending.
Joy spending.
Yeah. Travel, hobbies, learning something new, nice dinners out, whatever brings you joy. And the point is, you spend this money completely guilt-free because it's budgeted for.
So it balances out the saving and investing. It's not all about restriction.
Exactly. It makes the whole financial plan sustainable, more balanced. You need that enjoyment along the way. And, the source showed how powerful bucket two can be over time.
Oh, yeah.
They ran a hypothetical putting just $500 a month into bucket two, into those index funds, could potentially grow to around $1 million over 30 years or so.
Wow. That's the power of compounding, right? Long-term, consistent investment.
Absolutely. Letting it grow untouched.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive. We've hit on a practical way to manage anxiety spikes, a method to streamline your email, and a simple framework for your finances, security, wealth, and dreams.
Yeah, some really actionable stuff. And so naturally, we have a bit of a challenge for you this week.
We do. We really encourage you to try these out. First, next time you feel stressed or anxious, give that 5-4-3-2-1 technique a go. Just notice what happens when you shift your focus.
Second, try sending just one email using the CAB method.
Yeah.
Clear, actionable, brief. See if it changes the response you get, how quickly you get it.
And third, take a quick look at where your savings are going. Is money automatically flowing into some kind of long-term investment vehicle? Your version of bucket two.
We'd genuinely love to hear how you get on if you try these. Think about how these small shifts might add up.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe one final thought to leave you with. Think about that third bucket, the dreams bucket. How might consciously, deliberately setting aside money just for joy, how might that actually change your relationship with your finances overall, your motivation for the long haul?
Something to ponder.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.